Have you ever asked yourself this question? What happens when we are no more? What happens to our thoughts, our plans, our cultures, our emotions, our stories, or everything? Have you ever asked that? You have? I too. Well, this gentleman has also asked those questions. He is the author of the book, I Am the Tree. His name is Keeron Isaac. Keeron, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through. I like your story to begin with. You know, when you ask those questions, everyone has those questions as well. So naturally, you're tapping into a human emotion with real questions for which we need answers. I don't know if you have all the answers or any of the answers at all, but let's start with why you started your journey in writing. What was it that started it for you?
Okay, yes, so definitely. So throughout the pandemic, I had a few blocked school transfers and things of that nature, and also losing my granddad. I felt like I had lost two very important things in my life. So I was at a crossroads, wondering what's next. And my
Mm.
mom, she asked me what is something I was wanting to do but never had the time. And moms repeat stuff, so she she repeated it until it actually clicked for me to say, "Wow, mom, I want to publish." And she said, "Great, so we'll support that fully." So I worked on my first book, which came out last year, and then this one is my follow up, and
Mhm.
it came out this week. So it's exciting, and I always find it a bit surprising, but I guess interesting how life works out,
Yes,
how
yes.
even when things don't go the way you think they're gonna go, it still works out how it's supposed to, because I've always wanted to be a published author. Never really thought that this is how it would happen, but I said, God, you know what? I will take it. I will take it.
Wonderful. Now, you know, we live life thinking that the ground is always solid, that the space on which we stand will always be and will always be one which we can navigate. And then things happen to us and it feels then like shifting sand. Because here it was, you were having these moments in time and you wanted to be able to be this and that through your education. And then your grandfather
Yeah,
died. And it was like, oh, my
yeah,
whole world has now been tossed up. And so you had to find a space
literally.
to land and to land solidly.
Yeah,
But fortunately, you had your mother. And she says,
yeah,
start with something you love. Just that,
right. And
start
and
with something
and
you
it was
love.
just so simple. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's it.
And so
Yeah.
that's when was that the first time that you realized, you know what, I actually do love writing? Was that the first time that light went on for you?
So I actually I wrote a lot when I was younger. When I was 9, I was convinced I was gonna publish a book. I had a little notebook with things I wrote, but I lost it. But I'm kind of thankful I lost it, because I wasn't that great as at that point, but in my head I was. But it's the confidence, and I always actually I grew up asthmatic, so I actually didn't even like reading or writing. But
Hmm.
my mom, again, she would encourage me to read, to stay indoors, I guess, to save me from myself into like
Yes.
Hardy Boys and all these other kind of books.
Yes.
And eventually I realized, I was like, this isn't so bad after all. And
Hmm.
I just started writing. My In school, my writing progressed, it improved. And then teachers started using my book as examples of like how others should write, and I was like, wow, I'm good at this. So
Yes.
so then at the primary school level, secondary school level, even college, there was an English course, and I excelled in all my English courses. So it felt natural. It kind of felt like just an extension to who I am.
And I'm glad you told your story because oftentimes boys struggle with reading. The- Who has the time to read a
True,
book? We want to do. We just want to do.
right?
And so here it
Definitely.
is now. You know, and I would like you if you don't mind because you're still young and you can still share advice. Because there's some
Yeah.
young boys who are going to be watching the show today and they're thinking to themselves, but I don't like reading. Why are you forcing me to take up a book, to turn pages, or to go onto a tablet to read? I don't want to do so. What advice would you give to them and give them a reason to read? What would that be?
Well, I would say reading, and it sounds really cliche, but I hope they hear me out. Reading definitely opens a world of opportunities. It gives you power over your path, over your career. When you're well read, you also learn a wealth of vocabulary,
Yes.
and it really opens up your mind to new possibilities and new ideas. Sometimes we are so confined with our thoughts and our thinking, and reading could really open new doors for you. And
Hmm.
perhaps even if they're just, I guess, trying to impress someone they're interested in, guys, if you read, you'll have a little more lyrics to use. It'll impress your vocabulary.
You're so right. But if you just read for pleasure and leisure, at leisure, you will discover some turns of phrases that you go like, that's interesting the way they said that. And then you find yourself
Definitely.
beginning to use it as part of your natural way of speaking. And
And
before you
that's
know
actually
it,
happened to me.
yes, yes, before you know it, you are telling a story. And so,
Yeah,
and that's the beauty. And you're quite right, because the first time I ever went to England was through a book. Then going to
right?
England physically, then you realize, oh my goodness, all
Yeah,
of these things that I read about are right there. But you took
that's
yourself
exactly
there
it.
through the pages of a book. And so
That's
if
right.
you're interested in discovering the world, start with a book. If you're interested in discovering something new about yourself, it's in the pages of a book. Start there and then use your
Yeah.
feet to go somewhere else. And that's exactly what you've been able to do, because now I am a tree. And what does that mean when you've written this book? I am the tree. What are you saying?
Yeah, so that's it. So I am the tree. It's saying that we are all about continuation, Other
Mm,
times we kind of leave it up to others to carry stories or to carry our stories, but especially when it comes to our culture, Trinbagonian culture, Caribbean culture, a lot of it is based on oral tradition, but I wanted to cement it in written tradition. And apart from just sharing our stories, I even share as always I like to share affirmations and wisdom and things of that sort. So being a tree means you're being a vessel for longevity. There's a tree that I based it on called the banyan tree, and
mm,
is known as the tree that walks for centuries because even though it's just one tree, it's almost like a community because it nurtures other trees, and there's a whole
yes.
community that resides beneath the tree. So I feel like that banyan tree was a good example of being a tree walking for centuries, carrying your legacies, sharing your stories, and building up everyone around you while you do so.
You're right. It was, as Fort Law would be, a space where a lot of us, a lot of our people, our ancestors gathered for storytelling as well under that
Right.
banyan tree. And so you're right.
Definitely.
Its roots run deep. And so it's solid. It is solid. It's a great foundation upon which. And so you're saying
Definitely.
we as a people have to begin to see ourselves as such, as the tree that
Yeah.
stands tall and with regal grace. And so we are able now to create the space where others benefit from our legacy. Brilliant. Is it a collection of poems and poetry, or is it a story about a tree?
Yes, yes, it's a poetry collection. So poetry is
Yes.
what feels natural to me. So it shares folklore tales. So Mama Blue, Papa Boa, and these are the powerful characters who shares their stories. Even our
Hmm.
traditional mask characters. There's one called Fancy Indian went to tongue. There's even about Sailor Mars. So all of these characters are actually telling their stories through poetry. And I got the opportunity to interview some of our local, I call them heroes, who have been carrying the culture for years. Junior Bisnat, Keith Simpson, among others, they carry Mokojombi and Sailor Mars respectively, and a plethora of other wonderful individuals who gave me of their time. So it's about sharing all these stories through poetry. And there's also
Hmm.
some, funnier poems. Not everything is about just heavy, but it's about also humor, some laughter, some
Yes.
deep, even about mental health. It's a very eclectic collection, but I'm excited to share it.
Have you written in the Trinidad dialect, or have you written in English so that anyone everywhere can be able to pick it up and understand and to follow?
So it's actually a mix. So it goes between Trinidad dialect as well as standard English. But I do have
Hmm.
a glossary in the back. So anyway, so I was actually just yesterday I had the opportunity to share the book with two persons from Malta
Hmm.
while we were at the Caroni Swamp, and I showed them the glossary, and they already started picking up the phrases, and I was like, "Hey, you actually pronounced that correctly. I'm proud of you."
Yes. Wonderful. You launched, what was yesterday the launch?
Yeah, so yesterday it officially came out. Yeah.
Nice. And what's been the response to it, having been launched now?
Yes, it is great, and I guess as it's my second time around, I've been blessed to develop an audience who really support my projects.
Hmm.
They even pre-ordered, and so I'm gonna do deliveries tonight. So that's exciting to be able to spread my work. It's such a
Yes.
blessing to be able to do something you love and then have others appreciate it. So that's
You,
really fun.
as a writer, as an author, finding your space, because so many other people are doing writings as well and publishing and so forth, but you want to be known for what you do and as who you are. Have you ever thought for just a second, who you are and what it is that you want in the world? So you carved out your niche?
Yeah, I think about that all
Hmm.
the time because I have so much big plans for this book, and at first I would kind of shy away from saying that, but I realized there's nothing wrong with wanting big things for your work,
That's
because
right.
you put so much work into it. So I just realized that this is the collection, and I want big things for it. So I would think of all these questions, especially that you just asked, and I just realized it's about just pouring myself into it authentically. Even at one point I was like, wow, maybe I should remove some of the humorous poems because maybe they won't take me too seriously. But then
Hmm.
I'm really tongue in cheek kind of person, so when I removed them, the book fell kind of flat. So
Yes.
I put them back in, and I was like, it has to speak to me first. My mom always says a song is not a song until it touches your heart. So I was
Yes.
like, this book has to speak to me first. And when I added them back, it just felt like me. And I just feel a sense of peace every time I read the book. I feel really proud of it. I feel proud of the culture and what I'm able to put forward. So I'm just excited all around to see where
That
it goes.
is that is brilliant. So I am the tree. Now, our commenters on our social media are already congratulating you for the work that you've put out, and they haven't even read
Thank
it
you.
yet. So they're already excited about it. So where can people get copies of I Am the Tree? How can we do so?
Okay, so as of now, it's on Kindle as well as Digital Canopy, which is a Caribbean version to
Hmm.
Kindle. So they highlight regional authors. I'm working on getting it on Amazon. Amazon doesn't want me to be great, so much little glitches. But follow my social media, Poetry World, on Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok. You won't see me dancing on TikTok, but I'll be reciting poetry. So
Yes.
you can find me on all these places, and I'll announce exactly when it's on Amazon. But for now, you can get it in ebook on Kindle and Digital Canopy. So that's really exciting.
Folks, you got to do this. You got to do this. It sounds as though it's a collection of great work from Keeron Isaac, and he has taken the time in his relatively short life here on earth to be able to put this all together because he started doing the thing he loves, and he's been able to create the space through the banyan tree, the image of the banyan tree, for all of us to come join with him and celebrate who we are as a culture, who we are as a people, who we are as West Indians, and to be able to understand better who we are as well. Kieran, I wish you every success with this. Are you a Christmas baby, by the way? Are you one of those people who are into Christmas?
I am a Christmas junkie. When I saw the previous interview, I was like, did I miss the memo? I have my Christmas hats right here. I was like, want to put it on, but I was like, let me don't show them that side as well.
Yes. So out of curiosity now, I mean, Christmas is this weekend coming. So what are the plans for yourself and your family for Christmas Day?
Oh yeah, so definitely big feast with the family, Christmas
Yes.
and food are
Yes.
synonymous. So I'm preparing my stomach. Definitely. other Christmas movies, the traditional
Yes.
Christmas movies, Christmas with the Cranks, Home Alone, all these movies. I haven't been able to witness live parang as yet, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get some parang in maybe Friday. And then I'm not really a last minute shopper, but this year unfortunately I am because I've been so busy with the book. So
Yes,
I
yes.
will probably be in the crowd of last minute shoppers. So please pray for me this weekend.
You're such a good guy,
But
such a good guy.
hopefully
Note the name, everybody. The name is Keeron Isaac. Keeron Isaac. He's from Trinidad and Tobago. And he has his latest book out, I Am the Tree. It's available in soft copy on Kindle. Very soon it will be available on Amazon. He's working hard to make that happen. But
yeah.
we, as people of the Caribbean, need to support each other. I want to encourage as many of you as possible to support by getting the book, reading the book, and enjoying the stories told by Keeron Isaac. Note the name. That's the name for the future and today. Thank you so much, Keeron, for joining us this morning. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and the best for 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. A blessed day to you and all the viewers, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Likewise. Thank you very much indeed.